first weekend out of COVID, beautiful sunny day. I was with my family. Again, they were all having beautiful beers and champagne. I really struggled not having a beer. Thank you everyone for listening to part one of my solo episode called Achieving More. So this is actually a part two because I was at home partaking in my morning routine and I realised there was a couple of really important things that I've left off. First thing that I left off was I drink lots of water. And particularly in the morning, the first thing I do when I get up is straight to the kitchen, 3 big glasses of water. I picked that up in a few books and a few podcasts. I drink about 3 litres of water a day, and it was 2 litres. It's now gone up to 3 litres. I try not to drink it late in the day, but I honestly feel different if I haven't drunk the same amount of water. I feel different mentally. It's been a massive thing for me in terms of achieving more every day. And in particular, late in the day for me, if I haven't drunk my quota of water, I really notice the difference in my mind towards the end of the day. So that's one thing that I forgot to put in the first episode of Achieving More. The second thing is cold showers. So we're a big cold shower house, or my wife and I are. My wife actually got me into it, and she's doing the Wim Hof challenge. And we started last winter doing some swims in the winter down at the beach. And then it went to morning showers. So I only have 30 seconds of a cold shower in the morning, did it right through winter, super duper challenging, like it's painful, but like anything, the more you do it, the less painful it becomes. And as soon as the cold water starts, I just think about all of the wonderful things that it's doing for me. So there's a lot of research about the health benefits of shocking your body with cold water. Apparently it's really good to keep Alzheimer's, dementia away, and has a lot of other good health benefits. What I really like about it, it just makes me feel so good once I'm out of the shower. I'm literally on fire. My wife is up to 3 minutes. She times it, and she's also does the breathing and the Wim Hof. So if you haven't tried it, give it a crack. For me, I love it. I won't ever stop doing it. I did stop doing it and I went back. It was really hard. And now I'm doing it. 30 seconds is enough. And so there are 2 things that I forgot from the first episode. I also had a few questions from a few people from the first episode, and one actually from a client and also from somebody that I work with about meditation. And one of the people that asked me said, "Oh, look, I've tried it and I'm not really good at it." The thing about meditation is it's not about being good at it or not good at it. I'll tell you the story of when I started meditation is I used to sweat the small stuff a lot. I used to overthink all sorts of things. I'm talking, in my late 20s, and I used to, anxiety was a thing for me, and I used to just get really sort of hung up on things that were not worth me spending the time on. And my cousin gave me a tape called The Blue Room. And I used to listen to it in my car, and it wasn't actually a meditation tape, but I realised I just used to listen to it and I'd sort of just zone out for 10 minutes. And I didn't actually realise what I was doing was actually meditating. And I used to then incorporate that into my gym routine at the gym. This is pretty bizarre actually. At the gym at the end of my workouts, I used to lie down in the gym area and just close my eyes and just do some breathing. And I actually had somebody come up to me one time and said, "Mate, are you okay?" And so interestingly, meditation isn't about doing it right or wrong. It's just about being still. Last week in particular, I didn't meditate all week until the end of the week. I came to the end of the week and I really noticed the difference in my mind and how I was thinking and how I wasn't free flowing. I wasn't as creative as I normally like to feel. And I did a big meditation on Friday morning and I just felt like an absolute new man. So to answer the question of a couple of people from last week, another thing that I've become really passionate about in my quest for achieving more in health and wellness is diet. I've always been quite healthy in what I eat, but it's not until I actually got down into a bit of the detail of and just noticed how I felt after eating certain foods and what's good for me and what's not good for me. I specifically, I won't eat white pasta at lunchtime. I won't eat white bread because I really noticed it actually makes me feel lethargic in the afternoon. I've lost about 5 kilos in the last 6 months. That's been due to a few things. Diet's been a big one. I actually, during COVID, went through a little bit of a phase of counting my calories. That was really interesting for me. Never done it before. All I needed to do is just reduce some of the servings that I was eating, just eating a lot of food, and I reduced the size of that. The reason why I started counting calories, it was during COVID. I was training really hard, and my goal this year was to stay under 78 kilos. I was sitting at 82, 83, and I'm very pleased to say that the majority of the time I'm under 78. The lowest I've got to is 76.9, and this morning I was 78.2, so I was slightly over the weekend. I ate a bit more, but I really wanted to lose a bit of weight, and that's been achieved. So that's been really exciting for me. And another thing that really helped was I haven't had any alcohol for almost 6 months now. That's been a real eye-opening change over COVID, actually, at the very start of COVID. I don't drink a lot. My wife and I don't drink a lot. Really enjoy sharing a bottle of wine on a Friday night and a Saturday night, maybe a gin and tonic. I'm 49 and I've never been a big drinker, but I was really finding on Saturdays and Sundays, even with just that small amount of alcohol, I was hungover. I wasn't as enthusiastic as I would like to be with my son. You're also tired from a busy week. And I think it was my body telling me it was just time to have a bit of a break. And I've been thinking about it for a long time. I was getting to work on Mondays, even having just a little bit of alcohol, as I mentioned, Friday and Saturday nights, not drinking on Sunday nights. I would still get to work on Monday. And I was just not, like I was 90%. I just slightly feeling not 100%. And it was down to drinking on Friday and Saturday nights. So what was the clencher for me is we had a family barbecue in May. We all enjoy a drink. The kids come over, everyone's high-spirited. Started drinking champagne at 10:30. We got super excited and just drank a lot that day. I was so hungover. It took me like the week to get over it. And like we didn't drink copious amounts. I stopped drinking at night time, like at sort of 5 or 6. But I just realised that's it, having a break. And 100 days, no alcohol was my quest. During COVID, it actually was quite easy because there wasn't any social engagements. So I was quite proud of myself. Getting up earlier, not being sort of lethargic on Saturdays and Sundays, and just on fire mentally, like so on fire and alert, and I just became almost addicted to the feeling. 100 days came and I just continued. I said, I'm going to do a year. So I'm actually saying publicly now, I'm doing a year. I've been saying it at home to my wife and to some people, I think I might do a year, but I'm actually committing to it right here now in this solo podcast. So thoroughly recommend giving it a go. It's been really, really good for me. And interestingly, even though we were having small amounts of alcohol, really helped me lose weight. And I'm not overweight, but I just had those few kilos around the waist area. Being a 49-year-old male, that's where it goes to. Never had an issue with weight my whole life, been super fit, super healthy. But the older you get, that's where it goes for men, or it did for me. And that's gone now, and I feel amazing. Don't get me wrong, I actually realised, I thought it was so easy, but I forgot that we were during COVID and there were no social engagements. Came out of COVID, was out on a boat, first weekend out of COVID, beautiful sunny day. I was with my family. Again, they were all having beautiful beers and champagne. I really struggled not having a beer. It was really hard. And I pushed through, felt really good once I got through, but it was hard. I've realised, and even last night, yesterday afternoon actually, really felt like a beer. And I found it actually lasts about half an hour. I have a few apricots, I have some fruit, and I have chocolate and kombucha. These are all the things that help me get through. And I think what it actually is, it's the sugar. I've realised that the real craving is actually the sugar and also the process. It's like giving up smoking, which I did many years ago. So, hey, certainly not saying, it's all a breeze, because coming out of COVID, it's been challenging. Client lunches, that's certainly there's been a couple of challenging times when I'm sitting there at the end of the week, and we do a lot of socialising in our business, and that's been really hard, sitting on the other side of the table and seeing somebody have a beautiful glass of wine. But again, pushing through it. And that was one of the things I didn't also like about drinking, in particular on a Friday lunchtime, which we used to do. It's quite a common thing in our industry. And I'd get to 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon and I'd just feel terrible. And now I just power through and it feels wonderful. But hey, look, it's not for everyone. It wasn't easy for me in the beginning, that's for sure. And I'm not saying I'm giving up alcohol forever, that's for sure. I'll definitely go back to, I think, having a glass of wine or a beer or, that sort of thing. But the hard reset, as they call it, has been really awesome, and I'm challenging myself to go the year. And it is a challenge because there are times when you really would love a drink, let's face it. So a couple of other things two topics particularly that I've become really interested in and done a lot of reading and a lot of studying on to help me achieve more is awareness and being grateful. Awareness is being aware where your mind's at. And I spent many years in my youth, in my sort of late teens, in my 20s of being in some pretty sort of highly anxious states and not being aware of your thought process and going down rabbit holes that you didn't need to be in. And I think practicing awareness is just a really simple, actually it's not that simple. Practicing awareness is actually, for me, is actually been quite hard to do. But like anything, the more you do it, the better you get at it. And just being aware of thinking about anything that doesn't serve you, no matter if it's small or big, if it's not a positive, if it doesn't serve you, if it doesn't get you to where you want to go, just let go of it and move on to the next thing. The other thing that takes a lot of practice, I think, and it's not really a normal human nature to be this way, is grateful. And I was interested in the word grateful for a long time, but I never really sort of got deep into its meaning. And I think I've always been successful, but really for me to go to the next level, in the similar vein as being aware of where your mind's at, it's practicing being grateful. I have a client of mine he's a mentor and a dear friend. I was chatting to him the other day. He said, I've just been to the dentist. Oh, I hate going to the dentist. He goes, oh, that's funny. I said, what's that? He goes, I'm grateful when I go to the dentist. And it's really just an interesting way of looking at things. And it can be as simple as just swapping a word. And we talk about this a lot at home and with our boys 10, and we're really trying to get him to start talking and thinking the right way. And it's like, for example, using the dentist sort of story is, I've got to go to the dentist. It's, I get to go to the dentist. Or just a simple play on words. And it's really interesting teaching it to young people and just seeing how it can change. And it's the same with ourselves. It's just being aware of what you're thinking about and is it of benefit to you and to those around you. So many books and so many great things to study on this subject, and so simple, but the more you get into it, you can really see the benefits, and I look forward to studying much more about that. So late December 2021, what a year it has been. My goodness, second time in lockdown for us all. Wow, was just so challenging. And for those of you with kids at home, just a whole new world of challenges. I'm very blessed and grateful that the market was just absolutely powering right through COVID. We had some of our best months during lockdown, so thank goodness for that, versus last lockdown where the market really just completely closed up. We didn't have any deals for a few months, and everyone was wondering what was going to happen. So amazing times that we can go into another COVID and then the market just take off to levels that actually, in particular in the high prestige residential market, to levels that no one has ever seen the growth that we've had over the last 12 months, and amazingly in a pandemic. So just a phenomenal year. I've learned a lot about myself. I'm proud to say that I've made some big advancements. I started the Moxham Mindset, this podcast that I've been talking about for a long time with the help of the wonderful people at Mentored Media who do an amazing job. So big thanks to them. A couple of days till Christmas, it's almost been like crawling to the finish line. I'm sure we're all feeling the same. Taking some good time off, going away up to Byron is probably like many other people in New South Wales. Been going there for many, many years since I used to go camping there with my mates when I was 17, 18. So it's quite a special place for me. We're up there with a few other families. That's just going to be awesome. Heading down to my father-in-law's farm down near Bega. All the cousins will run around on the farm and have fun, and we'll be spending a lot of time at the beach. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed. I'm really looking forward to getting further into this next year. I've got some great subjects and some great interviews lined up, and more on the subject of mindset, growth, being our best selves, and just getting the absolute most out of every minute we are here. Before we go, I'd like to leave with one of my favourite quotes by Earl Nightingale, the man that pretty much started the personal development movement in the 1900s, early to mid-1900s. And it's very simple, it's very short. Everything begins with a thought. And it's just a question of who has that thought and what that person is prepared to do to make that thought happen. We all have the same powers. We all have the same mental abilities. We all have the same physical abilities. Some of us come from different backgrounds. However, we all have the same power of the mind to make things happen. So on that note, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, and can't wait to see you all again in 22.